Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. And today, Monday morning, I do want to do my inauguration video for Scarlet Witch Zombie to do in more detail for Should You Core Zombie Scarlet Witch. And so in this video, we're going to be covering her kit. We're going to be doing a bit of a recap because a lot of people might not remember what she does. And hopefully, by the end of all of this, we'll be able to answer the question of should you core for Zombie Scarlet Witch. And just to keep in mind, she does not have a core orb. Her event's going to be going live later on today. If you have not seen my math video, my event video from yesterday, do check that out because that's going to cover how you're going to unlock her in a little bit more detail. We'll cover a little bit, but most of it was from yesterday's video. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. All right, so let's do a recap of what Scarlet Witch Zombie does and her tags. And now this is where I think that she might have a little bit more value in the future. Maybe not necessarily right away, but I do like the fact that she is both bio and mystic. And her traits overall, I feel, is going to have some value down the road. Maybe not immediately, but things like event trials, that kind of thing, where she might pop up and be usable because of the variety of traits that she has. So her gear is primarily bio. She actually has 0 mystic gear. Some characters have like Spider Society had like a mixture of gearing on their characters, but nope. Scarlet Witch just has entirely bio gear. So if you're thinking about that, that is what you're gonna need. Now her base. Actually, let's go to Let's do the passive first because it's always like super lengthy. So power of the damned. Characters killed by Scarlet Witch Zombie cannot be revived. So that's great. That's probably going to be most relevant when she's like higher gear tier, or not, well, both higher gear tier and stars is what I meant to say, actually, because she is a new era character, right? So her stats are pretty good, and we're going to cover the stats after the kit here. On spawn, bury yourself for 30%. It's a shame it is not the team, but they do have that in War Offense. Unfortunately, it's locked to that. On any turn, if this character does not have exhaust, flip all bleed on self and all undying allies. That's kind of neat. Not super, it's not insane by any means. Flipping bleed, it should flip to regen, actually. That's what it would flip to. On turn, if ally Juggernaut Zombie has died and currently not an ally, summon a new one, right? And so this will be interesting, actually, to see what the summon version stats look like. We kind of got a glimpse of what the Doctor Strange's Wong summon was going to look like. I don't know how powerful necessarily the Juggernaut Zombie will be, and a lot of that might be relevant to, like, I don't know, what you currently have your Juggernaut Zombie at, right? So you're gonna have to use them together for sure. But there might be like a thing where, if you have a weaker zombie, you let it die out. Scarlet Witch summons, like, if you have her a G19 and she summons like almost like a better one. So I really like. Unfortunately, it's only once per match, but it's still really cool that, like, even if you lose yours, you're gonna get another one back. I do like that, and it's not locked to War Offense, which is cool. On War Offense, on spawn barrier the entire team for 30%. And then summoned Juggernaut Zombie spawns with +2 charge. So in order for the... so I guess that means even the summoned version can come back to life, presumably, as well. But it needs 5 charges, right? So it does start with 2, which means that you still probably need Hela, because you would need the Gregs to die for Zombie Juggernaut to get charges, right? So, if you're using just the 2 of them, I don't think there's ways for really Juggernaut to get up to 5 without having Hela, I think. I'm not a super... I'll be honest, I'm not a super expert on Undying, but I think that's the case, that you do need Hela for that. If this character's health is equal or greater or equal to 50%, then the whole team cannot gain trauma. This is big. If this wasn't locked at War Offense, it would be crazy. And then they cannot feel speed bar. This is big. This is basically like Iron Patriot's Crucible passive, just easier because it's just related to the health. Or I guess you could say it's like Gladiator's passive in Arena. I guess that's probably better, actually. So really crazy, and also why it's so good to like kill like Super Skrull or anyone who gets enhanced speed bar. Old Man Logan probably too on defense if you do see him on defense. So a lot of good application here for sure on War Offense. Now the basic Necro Bolt attack primary and adjacent targets for 240 plus apply heal block for 2 turns, and then if the character's not at full, apply bleed to the primary target and then call for assists. Everything's basically unavoidable and cannot be blocked in War Offense. Wretched Reality, 4 out of 4. Attack primary target for 240. Like Disrupt for 2 turns and 2 bleeds. And then AoE. Both of her attacks do AoE, which is nice. 240 plus bleed up to a max of 5. And then the safeguard for 2 turns to self and all allies. And I really do like this, and that's where I think it's going to be more applicable to like future stuff. Maybe not stuff immediately right now, but possibly, you know, other arrangements or reasons that you might want to use her in a variety of different content in the future, where that'll be really powerful. War offense apply immunity for 2 turns to self and the team, and then this does more damage against enemies with bleed, and of course unavoidable. Her ultimate, clear all barrier on all attacks and flip, or on all enemies, sorry, and flip all positives into negatives on each enemy, and then 350% piercing. Piercing is great. Also prolong the duration of all negative effects by 1, including trauma, which is also great. This attack ignores defense up and cannot be counterattacked, and unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So like it's just a lot of AoE damage. So it may not be super recognizable at like 2-star or 3-star, but when you do get maybe to the 5+, which yes, I do realize that she's a zombie, it's gonna be challenging to get stars that high. So it might not, she might not be like super amazing right out of the gate, but like the fact that she has piercing and new era stats, I think is gonna be fairly noticeable at least later on. And with luck, she'll also become more available in 6 months' time, like Juggernaut Zombie did. And I know that's not much a great consolation, but you know, it is what it is. So stats table. Let's take a look at her stats and how she kind of stacks up with other characters. I'm just going to chuck on purple ISO 3. I know we don't have 3 diamonds. The actual legit numbers don't really matter. It's more to do with the stat rankings that I care about the most. So Scarlet Witch Zombie. Let's do Scarlet Witch. Oh, nope. Scarlet Spider. Good God. So health. She's 14th in health. That's still pretty good. Let's zoom out actually 1 or 2 there. So Scarlet Witch is 14 in health. That's pretty good. She's about the same as, she's more than Doctor Strange, so pretty close to like Omega Sentinel and Lady Deathstrike in the health department. Her damage is number 11, which is pretty good. So she's she's in between Man-Thing and Moondragon. But her damage is going to be much better, right? She got piercing, so she's going to be doing more damage than Moondragon does. And probably more damage than Agatha, but don't quote me. I mean, I don't, Agatha has some piercing actually, I think. But still, pretty respectable. The difference is, unfortunately, though, unlike Agatha, who is farmable and you can get diamonds on, Scarlet Witch Zombie will be at a lower star level. So you do have to keep that in mind and take this with a grain of salt, that even though she's this high in her stats, you're not necessarily going to realize all of that because of your low star levels, probably like anywhere between 2 and 4-star, right? So Scarlet Witch Zombie is 19 in armor, and then her focus is also in the top 20, which is good. And then her resist, which I don't expect to be that high. Oh, it's in the 15. So all of her stats are in the top 20 for sure. But her health and damage is very respectable. Again, fortunately, because she's a zombie, pretty sure she's confirmed to be dark promotion credits, right? Like, I actually didn't read anywhere that said that, unless I missed it. But I assume she is, right? All the other zombies are, other than Hela. So one thing, so that's great. Like, her stats are good. Her kit is good. We do need to talk very briefly about how you're going to get stars for, again, I touched on it in yesterday's video, but I just want to do a very quick recap on this because I think it's really important. Red Dead Rematch. So this is the showcase event, and in the challenge level, there are 5 levels. Free to play are likely only to get about one, you know, maybe 1 orb, because it's not even a full orb. I think you don't have to refresh one of the nodes in order to get a full orb, and you're going to be expected to spend about 150 to 200 cores a day for that 1 orb every single day. If you want to get more than 1 orb a day free to play, you're going to have to spend to the level of 600 power cores, and that's a combination of energy resetting and then resetting the node some more. So it's going to cost you a fair bit to do this. And whether or not that's worth it, that's going to be entirely up to you. So doing the 150 cores will probably get you a 2-star. We don't know how many shards you're going to get out of the Undying Orb. It's not in the game yet as of recording this, and I think it won't go live. Sometimes they're live like 24 hours before, but it's currently not in the game right now. So I don't know how many shards people will get necessarily, but presumably 150 cores should get you at least a 2-star. If you want to get a 3-star, you're going to have to look at like 600 cores daily. That's basically the expectation for that. And for anyone who's like buying the character, I suppose, there is the Red Dead Rematch bonus levels, and that'll actually give you more opportunities to farm the Undying Orb fragments, because on the level you can also farm this too. So instead of having to reset the nodes in the challenge level, you're going to have extra nodes to farm in the bonus for every star level rank that you do have in Zombie Scarlet Witch. Also, I forgot to mention, I wanted to go back really quickly about her gear, is that she does require a really bad unique right now, which is Arcane Magic. Now, Arcane Magic is also the same as Agatha. I'm pretty sure it's also the same as Moondragon. And it's also the same unique as Mephisto. And there may be others, Black Knight, I suppose, but you're probably not G19 Black Knight anymore. But it is one that's been used quite frequently in the last 6 months. So I would caution, I suppose, making sure that if you are going to G19 her, if you're going to get her and do whatever you're going to want with her, that you're going to have the gear available to do so. She has 3 gear pieces in the focus, damage, and health department, all bio gear pieces there. So make sure you have what you need if you are going to be gearing her up. As far as ISO goes, I would probably recommend using Raider because she does have AoE on every single one of her attacks, or all attacks, and then her basic hits multiple characters, right? Necrobolt, yeah, and adjacent targets as well. So a lot of target attacks, and so Raider would be a good choice for her. And finally, I just kind of want to do a little bit of a recap on the team, right? And so, is she worth it? Is Undying worth it? Let's start with like new and mid game players. So players like my alt account, is she worth it? I'm not really building Undying for my alt account because PvP is a luxury game mode. And while I do think that Scarlet Witch Zombie will have more value than outside of War Offense, I think, than the other characters, it's not exactly clear why we're going to need, or what we're going to need her for. However, I do want to point out that in the Spec Ops for Battle World, there is a section where you do need a 3 yellow Scarlet Witch Zombie. So if you're in the position of deciding how many cores you want to spend for this upcoming event later on today, I would definitely, instead of gear tiering your Undying for those points for the event, I would actually consider coring for the Zombie Scarlet Witch event to try to push for a 3 yellow free to play for Zombie Scarlet Witch. That way, that's the requirements for the Spec Ops for her in Battle World. So at the very least, you'll be able to get some usage for her there. I don't actually believe too much into building war teams, especially for early and mid game players, unless they're really good characters like Old Man Logan, which is beyond obvious. I don't think that these characters here necessarily are going to contribute significantly to your roster for those players. For endgame rosters like myself, I think that there are the problem with the Undying characters, obviously outside of Hela, is that they require dark promotion credits to upgrade. And I think Juggernaut Zombie is actually one of the best characters. And so the two of them between Zombie Juggernaut and Zombie Scarlet Witch, I think would make an amazing duo. And so the reason why I gear 19 my Juggernaut Zombie, PS, there is a free 4 red for him as well in the event later on today. Reason why I upgraded him to G19 is because he only requires 2 gear pieces to get him to 19, and well, the event does get you scores for G19, so that's another reason why I decided to do this. I had a crap ton of gold extra from the Pocket Dimension mess up. Would I upgrade these characters from scratch? No, I don't think I would. Even when this zombie event that's ongoing right now, it doesn't super justify building them up because they are the definition of a luxury team. They are, however, a very good luxury team, and I've had a lot of good value out of them in War, and I've had a little bit of value actually out of them in Cosmic Crucible to some extent here and there, especially Juggernaut Zombie, because he is a spawn taunter. So you might get some value there. You might get some value actually in Cosmic Crucible with the 2 of them. I don't know if you would use the entire team though. I think that's still up in the air. Even though there are part of the Cosmic Crucible season for Undying, the jury's still out for me about how much value there is there. And I think maybe once people have some higher stars on Scarlet Witch Zombie, maybe we'll see some more of that. But she's going to be a very restricted character, and that is a little bit of a concern, being an epic character and whatnot. So, what's my rating for this character? I think she's definitely the definition of a luxury character, but I think she's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're somebody who has extra resources to spare, I would say that she is worth coring for as far as the event campaign goes, because it's also going to double up for milestone points for the event coming today, and she's also going to be required for 3 yellow for Battle World. So I would say that she's worth coring up to 3 yellow, and I guess that's what I would say is should you core. So at a maximum 600 cores a day until the event ends. That's what I would personally do myself, and what I actually plan on doing on my account, because I want to make sure that she's at least usable in Battle World wherever I need to use her. And if I get some extra value out of her, then great. But I'm not going to be going balls to the wall, as she doesn't have a core orb anyways. So there's kind of a maximum of how much you can really core for her anyways. But I did want to do this video because I wanted to do it for every single character, and I didn't want to miss one. And so here's Zombie Scarlet Witch. Should you core? Maybe. That's like the TLDR, depending on if you're a new player or a late player. And whether or not you have the resources to upgrade her, if you don't have a lot of gold to put into her right now, I would say she's a skip. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.